Hello and welcome back to Norfolk Fords. Today we are axle flowing. £5 on eBay, that was well spent. So it's fairly rainy all over the UK at the minute. People are allegedly combining and breaking things, but you know, it is nearly that time upon us, so it's time to pull finger out and get the last few details on the combine, get it ready, get it washed, and we're ready to go. So what have we been up to? Well, we've had lots of little tidying up jobs, tried changing potentiometers and stuff like that, and just sort of trying to get to know the combine in the shed. So when we actually get running with her and actually using her, we're going to learn all of the quirks that we can't right now. But let's go around and show you guys what we've been up to, sort of to get us to this point. We've still got a little bit more to do, then we're going to be ready for, I want to say next week, but it's going to be the end of next week really. So come have a look. So we shall start at the front of the combine. The feeder house has been sort of put into two pieces. So we'll start here. This is where the header hooks on, and we're currently looking at the back half of it. There's your tilt adjustment ram, and here and along the back there are wear plates. Here's one that was on the combine. So it's definitely been a wear plate and it has worn. So I've got some new ones that I'm going to rivet on shortly. And then this big strip along the bottom here was far too much money to get a genuine one. So if we come along to the sofa, as all good grain stores should have, we have the old wear strip, which was getting fairly worn. It's got a sort of shoulder here where that sits in, and that plastic had worn flush with the metal. So I was worried about that getting any further and actually start wearing the metal out, so I wanted to change it. So if we can try and compare the thickness on camera so you guys can see, there is an increase. These are just some offcuts we got from a supplier in Lynn. I can't remember who sold us these, but this is some offcuts about the right size. Need to cut it all down, countersink some holes and drill the holes. Then that's going to be ready for the bottom, and hopefully that'll just make that really nice and snug for when we're hooking the header on. While we've got it off as well, it doesn't really make it any easier, but we have changed the feeder house chains. So this is a brand new chain that's gone on. We need to get the pins in. Look, that was my next job. Then we're going to tension her up. We've got quite a few of the RAS bars changed. If I can push this around, I haven't tensioned any of it. Well, I can't really pull it around. Hold on. If you look there, you can see a new one, is what I'm getting at. So strangely enough, these are straight bars, which are the originals. I've got some over there which are snapped in half and re-welded. Don't want to put re-welds back on really, but we'll keep them spare just in case we get in a muddle. So the originals are straight cut, the new ones are serrated. Most modern combines now are serrated. Apparently it's better for grabbing your traditional cereals and stuff. And straight bars is more for maize, I believe, when I was reading up on it. So the only reason we went for the serrated ones and not kept with what the combine's got, the serrated ones are about 20 quid cheaper. And when they are around 100 quid, shaving off 20 quid suddenly earns you another one when you're buying 4 or 5 at a time. So, going to be putting them pins in, like I said. We'll tension it up and we'll be well away on the front half. I'm a little bit worried on the front here. I think this belt wanders a little bit, but I'm going to get it all ready and running again and sort of have a look without all the panels on. But I do wonder if this belt wanders a little bit, or more specifically, I think this idler here wanders, because I can sort of push it back and forth a little bit, and you can see that's just very close on the metal there. So just something I want to have a look at and get right. So there's the tensioner, just a few little bits and bobs. So we'll come round to the next exciting job. We'll grab the torch, come around the back here, and we have modified the straw chopper. So the way this combine works is you've got a big void in the back here, and that's the straw chopper sort of halfway in the combine. So you chop the straw, and that sends it over the back. Oh, while we get in here, there's the chopper, and you've got all this room in here for the straw to be airborne when you're chopping, and you get a little bit more cleaning, I guess you could call it. You get a bit more grains fall out while it's in mid-air and goes into the sieve. Good idea. So what we've got is a pulley on the outside which has a bad habit of wandering off. So the nut will come loose and that'll wander. So with help from a friend of ours who also has an axle flow, we've made up this bush here. And what that is it's I think you call it like a cone. So a cone, like cone and a cup sort of thing. So this is the cone. The pulley's now got a cup cut into it on a lathe. And as this is tightened into it, that'll pull itself into itself, and that'll keep it really nice and locked on. As we speak right now, I can't actually do much with that. I've done the nut up, but then I've had it off again because I could do with a washer. So I've got a washer on order. Dad's going to pick one up for me. Then we'll get that nut on properly. We have had to put, well, we bought a die for this because the thread was just knackered on the end as we took it off. So we've put a die down it, and that's tied it up quite nicely. That was worth getting a proper die for it. So you can see where I've tried to sort of cut a cone onto it to sort of start a nut, but it needed a die down it. There's no denying that, especially now we've got it. That was just worthwhile doing properly. You can sort of hear the rain on the roof of the shed if you listen carefully. Horrible British weather. Anyway, this is my favourite side of the combine because there's not a lot here. It's very open and very easy to get at. Anyway, if we have a look here, we've got all the panels off and you can see straight into the rotor and the concaves, which is absolutely amazing. Like I said, when I first got the combine, this is an SX90 like I used to work on. It's so familiar to me. Like the principles of it are so much the same. It's brilliant. But very different in this section here. So this is like your larger grate where you're getting some like last bits of cleaning through. And on the S690s, they only have it open at the bottom with large grids. I've got it all the way around there, look. I don't know why. It might be because I've got a shorter rotor compared to the more modern S690s. So they're just trying to give me more surface area for grains to fall through, I guess. Because you see on the S690s, they don't have... they only have it sort of open on this lower half. I mean, I can kind of see now I'm looking at it where paint's been peeling off, so maybe it's chucking grains out at the top there and taking the paint off, maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to work it out. Does anybody know if this is better having it clean all the way around like this? You know, have the gaps so grains can fall out? It's just very noticeable difference, that's all. But like I said, on the more modern ones, you've got a lot longer rotor. So possibly because you've got longer, you don't need it open at the top. So is this the sort of compromise? Don't know. Anyway, you come around here and you can just see that cable there. That is the potentiometer that tells me in the cab where my concave sits. So I've had a new sensor on that and it's not cured it. I keep trying to calibrate it. If we leave the torch down here, turn the battery on, and we'll just run up into the cab quickly. I'll try and show you guys what I'm doing to try and calibrate it, and hopefully one of you has driven an not an S690, what am I on about? Driven an axle flow. See, I'm crossing my wires now. And you'll say, ah, Lewis, you're doing the calibration wrong. So we have the manual, came with the combine, quite luckily. And I didn't leave the bookmark where I thought I did. Hold on. Right, we'll try and work this out together. Hopefully you guys can sort of help me in the comments a little bit. But it says here, this is to calibrate header controls, which I find very confusing, but this is the only place where it says to zero the concave, which is what I'm looking for. So, start the vehicle while holding, that's the engine one, and the forward speed one, I believe. Anyway, you can sort of work out the symbols. Yeah, it's those two, so I need to hold those two while turning the key, so I'm going to put the camera down for a second. But you've got to calibrate without the header, see note 1. So whatever the note 1 is. Note 1 if calibration with the header. And the combine do so over a ditch. Retain maximum feeder travel. No idea what the relevance of that is. Anyway. So hold that down at the same time and it should come up with that. And then I need to let go of the buttons. And then it will come up with cal. And then press raise switch, which is saying raise switch, to cycle through. So then I need to get to the concave, push raise to 0, push lower to skip. So I'm guessing I need to go through this all in order. Oh, I wish I'd have read this before I started recording. Now I feel confused. Right, we'll see what we get. Right, bear with. Right, she's come up with cal. So next it says about the raise switch. So if I press the raise switch, which is backwards on cases, apparently the same on class, it's doing nothing. But if I hit, this is something we were fiddling with the other day, by the way. If I now hit raise on the concave instead, it'll tell me to do with the concave, look. It's not telling me anything though, is it? So it's now back to cal. But if I'm pressing the header raise like it says to, it's not doing me anything. But on the previous page it's telling me about using the up and down arrow to navigate, but this is for the instrument panel. But if it's the same, then maybe if I press this one, no, I've got nothing again. And this is where I'm at really, guys. I'm just sort of confused and I just want to calibrate it. I mean, I can start combining without this calibration because the concave has got a gauge on it on the outside, so I can physically see the height. It's just going to be a pain in the bum because I'm not actually doing what's needed. You know, ideally I should be setting up from here. I should be setting my belt speeds, my concave and fan, you know, I should be setting up everything from the cab. So I'm not really sure. Advice is needed. Not really sure where to go with that one because I can get to the calibration menu, but then it's not doing anything. I can't, you know, reading the book, you know. I'll show you guys once more so you guys can pause the video and read it yourselves. And if you read it differently to I do, make sure you leave a comment because I'm a little bit confused. There's the first page, which is combine calibration, which is more instrument panels and tyre sizes and fuel gauge by the looks of it. So feel free to pause. And then if I come over here, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the concave zeroed. It's got a new sensor on. The sensor's metered out properly when I had it on the bench. So have a pause, have a read, and let me know in the comments I don't know if there's anything next page. No, there's diagnostics. Nope. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So, after a bit of fiddling today, I should be ready to rock and roll. It's just I need a little bit of help from you guys with that calibration, because I'm really not sure, and not really sure where to go with it. So, feel free to leave me a comment and tell me what I'm missing. If you guys have got experience with axle flows, let me know any comment you've got about what I should look out for. Is there like a belt that'll always ping off if you tilt the header to the left twice or something like that? Tell me some quirky things that you guys know about axle flows, because 2 weeks' time, well, if the weather ever stops, but that's another complaint for another day. When we get combining in about 2 weeks' time, I really want to know what to expect. First time driving the combine in anger, this is going to be kind of nerve-wracking, really. It's really exciting, but I just want to be as prepared as possible, so that's why we're doing all these jobs as best we can ahead of time. We ain't got the budget to go right the way through. In an ideal world, I'd change all of the chains, sort of double-check a lot of these belts, but we're running it as best as we can this year, so that next year we can go a bit more fine-tooth. But that's a story for Christmas time, so yeah. Thanks very much, guys. I hope this has been a little bit interesting. Been a little bit waffly, but I'm just trying to work out mainly that calibration. It just bugs me. But feel free to leave a comment with any tips and tricks on axle flows. Leave a like, helps us out a lot, and make sure you subscribe and see how good this actually does over harvest. We shall see. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.